Fairy tales are real. Magic is real. Everything that was told to us as children was real. A world like this seems impossible, but what if there was a hidden world? A place where all fantasy and magic originated from. A world that was forgotten and never mentioned about again. That world is Faironia. In this world, all your imaginations are real. Everything that existed and will exist was thanks to one omnipotent being named the Creator. The Creator had the power to create anything that was beyond a person's imagination. In doing so, the Creator built many different worlds and universes. One of these worlds, of course, being the world we currently live in. On the final days of the creation of the different worlds and universes, the Creator brought and created the first two living beings to ever exist. One called the Daughter of Light, the other called the Son of Darkness. The two were entrusted by the Creator to look after the world and watch over and protect it. Initially, the two of them did not get along, as both of them were quite different in terms of personality. The son was quite reserved and did not particularly take interest to much of what was happening around him. He would often also ignore the sister and prefer to do things alone. The sister, on the other hand, was very joyful and energetic, and often got excited when given the opportunity to discover something new. Although the brother saw no interest in her, the sister would continue to look out for her brother whenever she could. The Creator believed that the two would eventually be able to build a fair and equal world, and that the light and hope from the sister would be able to balance out the darkness that was within the brother. Differences aside, the two still continued to watch over the world together. Eventually, this plain world was filled with countless magical creatures and kingdoms. With every year that passed, the two remained the same age, and were never allowed to interfere with any living being that lived on this world. This was a part of the taboo that was placed upon them, and was their promise when creating this world. To any other person, these two were just seen as just ghosts, and were not able to be seen. As time continued to pass on, the brother slowly began to grow fond of the sister, and the two eventually grew a strong connection. In doing so, the brother's darkness no longer felt like darkness, and was instead used beside the sisters to help bring fairness to all the kingdoms. They vowed from this day onwards to try and aim to use their gifts to create a fair and white world. From that, the name Faironia was born. The two continued to keep with this promise until an unfortunate day. He saw with his own eyes a fire that had been started in the woods by a creature that seemed to resemble a dragon. The fire was just outside a village, so there was a huge outburst and panic. The Son of Darkness knew of the powers that a dragon was capable of, but had never seen such power used before that could bring fear and emotion to so many people. The Son of Darkness continued to observe these different occurrences and grew fascinated by this. The brother himself had never seen such fear and emotion, and had only just learned what happiness and joy looked like because of his sister. The brother soon began to look to this form of pain as entertainment, and even summoned countless beings of demon and monsters to help create a sense of fear and instability to the kingdoms and villages. These acts, brought by the Son of Darkness, soon began to bring out a war between different kingdoms and brought in a new decade of war and violence to the once peaceful world of Faironia. The sister grew aware of his brother's actions and tried countless times to talk to his brother out of committing these terrible acts. The sister knew also that the brother was acting outside of his taboo, and that by causing all of his pain and suffering, he was changing the once fair world that they had built. The brother soon became unrecognizable and began to be consumed by his own darkness and awakened his true potential that the Creator had hoped never would have been unlocked. As the brother continued to be consumed by his own darkness, the sister soon realized that he was unreachable and that any connection that they had once built had now disappeared. The sister was soon left with no other choice but to try and stop her brother and try and undo the damage that the brother had created onto the world. In doing so, she set out to find the 5 elemental wizards of water, fire, earth, wind, and spirit. These 5 great powerful wizards were responsible for creating a great group of fighters named the Mashalon, who were each given a sword which contained a certain element. Because of all the strength and power that the Mashalon wizards and elemental wizards had, they were also able to see and speak to her. With help from these great wizards, they were able to infuse their powers to create a blade containing all of their elements, including an additional element of light. After the sword was created, it was named Elementexidor. After the creation of Elementexidor, the sister set out on a journey to try and find the perfect warrior that could have the power to wield all of these different elements. The power of the sword was too strong to wield for some, while others would struggle to access its true potential. The girl traveled the world of Faironia, going from country to country and kingdom to kingdom. She continued to not interfere, even in the dire of situations. The sister continued to travel until eventually her power began to weaken from the control her brother had. On one of her journeys on the outskirts of the 2 kingdoms of Malioda and Sihir, the daughter had collapsed from extreme fatigue. With her power weakening, the girl soon passed out until by sheer chance, a young knight by the name of Zero came to her rescue. For the first time, she could be seen by another living human. The young knight took care of her and cared for her needs for the next few days at his home in a small village in the kingdom of Malioda. The Daughter of Light eventually grew much stronger and was in debt to the young knight. For the next few days, she continued to live with Zero and help out where she could. No other person other than the young knight Zero could see her. The girl grew fascinated with the lifestyle that Zero lived and learned many things about him. She eventually decided to leave the kingdom in quiet while the young knight was asleep, as she no longer wished to be a burden for him, and that she would one day return to see him again. With the daughter's powers slowly weakening, she soon knew that the power and control that the brother now had on this world was far beyond her control. As a final act, she decided to leave the sword Elementexidor which she had carried for all those months under the protection of the great Mashalon fighters. After she had done this, she then set out to try and regain control of her powers to stop her brother and bring him back to her. After that, the Daughter of Light was never seen again. Well, at least that's what the legends say. Many people and organizations in this world have made it their business to try and find the source of all magic and the impossible occurrences in this world. They knew that the world of Faironia was out there. They just didn't know how to find it. I'm going to find the elemental sword of Elementaxidor, and then I'm going to find my brother Wyatt and bring him home. After all, it's what my sister, Kyrina, wanted. For us to be a whole family again. And that's why I don't want to face her until I have done what I need to do. My brother told me one day, when the time was right, I would be ready to go to this world. He made the journey and choice to spend his early years in this world, but now, it's my turn to begin my own journey into this world.